The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across our manicured lawn as I pulled into the driveway. It had been a long day, a long week, really, juggling work, the kids' schedules, and the clandestine calls with Alex was taking its toll. A familiar pang of guilt pricked at me, but I pushed it down just as I always did. The house was quiet when I stepped inside. Usually, I'd be greeted by the chaotic symphony of children playing or the low hum of the TV. But today, there was only silence. A heavy, unnerving silence. "Mark?" I called out, dropping my keys into the ceramic bowl on the entryway table. "Kids? I'm home." No answer. A knot of unease tightened in my stomach. I walked through the living room, a space Mark had so lovingly designed, with its plush gray sofas and the family photos lining the mantelpiece. Everything was in its place, pristine and perfect, a stark contrast to the mess I was making of our lives. I found him in the kitchen. He was standing by the island, his back to me, staring out the window at the setting sun. He was so still. Mark was never still. He was a man of constant motion, always tinkering with something, fixing something, building something. "Hey," I said, my voice a little too bright. "Tough day?" He didn't turn around. He just stood there, a silhouette against the fiery orange sky. "Mark, is everything okay?" He finally turned, and that's when my world shattered. It wasn't one single thing. It was everything. The way his shoulders slumped, the hollowness in his cheeks, the absence of that familiar sparkle he always had when he looked at me. But most of all, it was his eyes. They were a storm of emotions I'd never seen before. A devastating mix of pain, betrayal, and a deep, soul-crushing disappointment. There was no anger, no rage, just a profound, empty sadness. In that one silent moment, looking into the eyes of the man I had promised to love and cherish forever, I knew. He knew. He knew everything. My breath hitched in my throat. The carefully constructed walls of my double life came crashing down around me. All the lies, the secret meetings, the deleted texts, they were all there, reflected in his gaze. "How?" The word was a faint whisper, lost in the cavernous silence of the room. He didn't need to answer. He slowly lifted his hand and placed his phone on the marble countertop, screen up. My heart stopped. Displayed on the screen was a photo. A photo of Alex and me, leaving a hotel, my hand linked in his, a carefree smile on my face. A smile I hadn't shown Mark in years. I felt the blood drain from my face. The air grew thick, suffocating. I wanted to explain, to apologize, to rewind time and erase the last 6 months. But what could I possibly say? The evidence was right there, irrefutable and damning. "Mark, I started, my voice trembling, but the words wouldn't come. He just shook his head slowly, a single tear tracing a path down his cheek. He looked so broken, so utterly defeated. And I was the one who had done this to him. I was the architect of his pain. He had given me everything, his love, his trust, a beautiful family, a perfect home. And I had repaid him with the ultimate betrayal. He finally spoke, his voice raspy and barely recognizable. "Was it worth it, Sarah?" he asked, the question hanging in the air like a death sentence. Was he worth destroying all of this? He swept his hand around the room, indicating not just the kitchen, but our home, our family, the 15 years we had built together. I opened my mouth, but only a sob escaped. I couldn't look at him. I couldn't bear to see the wreckage I had caused reflected in his eyes. I stared at the floor, at the pristine tiles that suddenly felt like they were cracking beneath my feet, just like the foundation of our entire life. The silence that followed was worse than any shouting match could have been. It was filled with unspoken accusations and the deafening sound of a heart breaking. His, and in a way, mine too. Not for the loss of my affair, but for the loss of him. For the loss of the woman I used to be before I made these choices. He picked up his phone, his movements slow and deliberate, as if every joint in his body ached. He slid it into his pocket without another word. He didn't need to say anything else. His eyes had said it all. He walked past me, his shoulder brushing mine, and the brief contact felt like an electric shock. A final, painful reminder of the chasm that now lay between us. I heard his footsteps on the stairs, then the quiet click of our bedroom door shutting. I was left alone in the kitchen, the setting sun now gone, plunging the room into twilight. The photo on his phone was burned into my mind, my smiling face, a picture of carefree happiness with another man, while the best man I had ever known was left to pick up the pieces of the life I had so carelessly shattered. I sank to the floor, the cold tile a stark contrast to the burning shame that consumed me. The quiet house was no longer just a house. It was a mausoleum for a marriage I had killed. And in the deafening silence, the only thing I could hear was the echo of his question. Was it worth it? And the answer, a gut-wrenching, soul-destroying no, screamed in the emptiness. It was the moment I realized that, in my selfish pursuit of a fleeting thrill, I had lost everything that ever truly mattered. This story is a powerful reminder of how our choices can have devastating consequences, not just for ourselves, but for the people we love most. It's a difficult subject, and if you or someone you know is struggling with relationship issues or the pain of infidelity, please know that there are resources available to help. Talking to a therapist or a counselor can provide a safe space to navigate these complex emotions. Reaching out is a sign of strength. Thank you for watching and for being part of our community. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more content that explores the complexities of human relationships. We'll see you in the next one.